In preparation for adding stories and dialogue, I have made the initial level, so level 0. And I've had to totally revamp how I manage levels. So I've added this new game manager, and here each level, it has its ground, its spawn, its hard spawn, the wallman limit, etc. And before I was using mapping, and I had to manually do it in like separate arrays, and it was a disaster. It was the most spaghetti code of all spaghetti code. But now, um, it took a few hours, but I've managed to make it now very nice code, reusable, clean, um, and everything works, and I'm very happy about that. Um, I've also added some text files, so progress and dialogue, um, and I haven't really done anything here. I haven't worked on the dialogue, and the progress is just for things I need to do, and that's all for today. Before I talk about anything else, I just want to say that GitHub version control saved my life because I accidentally changed something in my code that I really shouldn't have, and it it removed all of my level planning, and I just pulled the repository and I got it all back, which is nice. And I didn't even have to like redo any of the other progress I did in that time, which was nice. So I've added dialogue. It's a very scuffed implementation of it. Basically, you just walk here, and this is the dialogue. There's supposed to be multiple parts. Anyways, it's a collider. I'm not really sure if that's what you're supposed to do because, well, for right now, my fireball can explode on the dialogue. Yeah, and also, obviously, it looks terrible. I'm gonna make it look better, but yeah, I'm not sure if I want it to be a collider or not. I'm not really sure how else I would implement it. Um, but that's what we did today. It was very fun. I did a lot of JSON and learned a lot about it. I'm really tired, but I'm gonna do this log today. So basically, I reverted the dialogue. It like totally, the dialogue will now be in a separate world or a separate scene in the mind because it's in his mind because the theme or the story of the game is like self-doubt, so we're going to be inside the mind of the player, and so that's where the dialogue is going to happen. So I've turned that into a separate scene. I haven't worked at it at all. This is what the scene looks like. So anyways, it's just been a massive pain trying to transition the scene while also basically I have to pause this scene because I don't want to remove it because I don't want you to start over. But it works, so I'll just give a quick demonstration. So from the triggers right here, boom. So now we're in the mind scene. It's blank. And then when we click escape, we're back to where we were. And it's like nothing ever happened. So that's really, really good. Um, and I've also updated the trigger effect for the mind scene, so now the fireball doesn't proc it or anything, and it still works. And yeah, this has so much potential, but it's a real pain to code. But I got it over with today, so I'm very happy about that. I have made a beginning of a menu. Uh, Here's how it looks, and it's really cool because the background is a looping video. Okay, it lags a little bit. I'll have to fix that. But yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. Well, this is not. The background is what it's gonna look like. These boxes here look pretty bad in my opinion. I was just following a tutorial, just to see the best way to do it. This is okay, but I think I could do better. It doesn't look very nice. And the video loops, and I mean, it was a bit of a weird setup. This video player, it like required me to use a like texture, and I didn't. It seemed overcomplicated to me, but I got it working, and I think it looks pretty cool. The background of it, and definitely fits the game of being in the mind, uh, the darkness. Anyways, that's all for today. So I actually decided to make the black background or whatever in the mind instead of them in menu. It makes so much more sense now that I think about it. So the mind, right there. Ooh. Okay, it's supposed to be uh properly with the screen. Okay. It's fine, I'll fix that. Um anyways. Wow, it worked when I tested it earlier. Okay, anyways. And so that's cool. And then for the main menu, I did this. And of course, it's all copyright free. I made sure everything I did is copyright free. Don't want to get sued. Um, but I think it looks pretty good. The buttons don't work, but they will. And then I'm going to have different pages. So I'm going to have play, and then I'll say continue or new game. And then either one, or if it's new game, then it's going to be easy or hard mode. And then credits, of course, and then the settings. I think it looks pretty nice. I went with my own boxes. I mean, they're pretty boring, but I think it looks better than the previous one that I followed from the tutorial. And yeah, things are going well. So I've finally finished my main menu. I'll quickly go through all the buttons. And I even made my own sprite for one of these, which is the exit. I mean, I think it looks pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, I made this myself in Krita. And can continue new game. And there's, these are blank. And then quit obviously quits. And then, it works. And the difficulty also works. And I also fixed the limits. And it was a bit confusing. Basically, I learned that the camera, it's affected by the aspect ratio. So if I put it in free aspect, you see the canvas actually, or not the, okay, well, whatever. It increases the size. I didn't know that. It actually physically increases the camera in the actual game. But now that I knew that, I basically use the camera here. I use the camera's properties to make sure that the limits are adjusted for the different aspect ratios, which is really good. And then that also allowed me to fit everything completely. And so now the mind works every time as well. It's at the maximum size. And yeah, I've just, from learning all of this, I've gained like a much better understanding of the UI and canvas. Also, I changed my game UI to canvas instead of underneath the camera holder. Anyways, it's all good. And I've even made a build, so I can even test it in my full screen, and that's pretty good. Yep, it works. All right, and that's it for today. So it's been like 2 weeks. The winter break was over and then school started and I was pretty busy. I'll try to make time, but it's definitely not going to be every day like it was in my previous videos or even before this point in the video. I added a pause menu. It's pretty okay. It's kind of bland, like it's just black. I had a lot of trouble with thinking about how I wanted to implement the pause, whether I wanted the game to actually pause or if I wanted it just kind of like a UI. But I ended up thinking that the game should actually pause. So as you can see, I'm in the midair and then I go back down. And then also another cool thing is that because I'm using left click, which is the same as my fireball, so I had to add like a delay of blocking, and then I also have to access it from like a global manager that deals with all the pauses. So that's all pretty cool. My mind level doesn't have the pause menu, so I'll add that later. It will be pretty easy. And that's pretty much all I did. So yeah, I'm probably gonna work on it a bit less than I was in these last 3 videos because of school, so much work, but I'll make time. All right, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video.